grow here and we can grow there. You can find us everywhere. Hard stop, there's not much defense. You can try it though at your own expense. It's all you need. We make good ground cover. Just leave us be and you might soon discover. Not keeping an eye and watching us grow. Before you know it, yeah, we spread high and low. Weeds. We're wild, wild weeds. We can carry loads of seeds and scrounge for all our needs. The wild, wild weeds.
A few years ago, I noticed some nondescript plants surrounding my ostrich ferns. I tried to remove them, but they kept coming back. When I pointed them out to a European wild food expert who was visiting, he assured me that these plants were actually edible. He called them ground elder, but I soon discovered that was just one of many names associated with this plant. Americans know it as goutweed, goatweed, or bishop's weed, but frustrated gardeners call it 9 lives plant. Goutweed is native to Eurasia. It was brought to this country as an ornamental and as a food source. Unfortunately, it's made itself too comfortable here, and thus has earned itself a place on Massachusetts' most invasive species list. It's almost impossible to eradicate, so whenever you can, grab a bunch of leaves and eat them up. This fast-growing perennial emerges from deep rhizomes to become about 2 feet tall. It spreads aggressively and forms dense colonies that often choke out surrounding flora. You'll find these plants in partially shaded areas that have rich, moist soil. The leaves appear in early April and continue producing throughout the summer. A cultivated variety with white leaf margins isn't as invasive and is sometimes planted in gardens. In early June, both varieties send up a smooth stem, topped with a lacy umbel of small white flowers, soon followed by seed-like fruits that eventually split into 2 halves. It's important to make sure of goutweed's identity, since it's in the same family as what I call the deadables, poison hemlock and water hemlock. Those plants have feathery leaves, but goutweeds are very different. They're fatter with toothed edges. Some people who glance quickly at the leaves may confuse them with those of poison ivy. If you look closely at goutweed, their serrated leaves are arranged in 3 groups of leaflets on a smooth stalk. The middle leaflet of poison ivy usually has a long stem, plus the plant is woodier and can grow as a vine, which goutweed never does. If still in doubt, wait until poison ivy blooms and compare its inconspicuous flower clusters to goutweed's more showy blossoms. Since goutweed's young leaves appear fairly early, I put them in my salads and sandwiches. I always try to dry some to use as a seasoning during wintertime. Their taste is mild, like parsley, and they're a good source of vitamin C. I prefer to eat them raw. Just remember, goutweed needs to be reined in. Never plant it, or you'll curse your lapse in judgment for a long time to come. That said, if you do have access to goutweed, try this Gaspacho recipe. It's a good way to get rid of some, and you can be proud that you've played a small part in controlling it. Put 1 14-ounce can of organic diced tomatoes, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 cup tender young goutweed leaves, 1 cup uncooked stinging nettle tops, and salt and pepper to taste, into a small blender or food processor. Blend for about 3 minutes until smooth. This makes enough for 2 small servings. Increase the amounts if you want more. No, I didn't make a mistake when I included uncooked nettles in the recipe. The watery tomatoes and the constant blending neutralize their sting. If nettles aren't available, you can use other wild greens, like these chickweed leaves. Even if my granddaughter seems a bit hesitant about trying it, this cold soup is tasty and so easy to make.
Now appearing in a lawn near you. Wild, wild weeds. See you around, man. Weeds rule, man. there. You got some growing pains out there, man. You think we're gone? We're doing our little weed wave here.